What is up guys, Jarv here, back today jumping into Destiny. We are back with another This Week in Destiny, giving you the full breakdown for the up and coming week. This week sees the continuation of the Festival of the Lost. We also get the final piece of some of the narrative over at the Halo Projector. On top of that though, we have a full breakdown of featured raid and dungeon content, the weekly rituals and so much more. So be sure to stick around and enjoy the video. If you do enjoy the video, be sure to leave a comment and rating down below. And remember to subscribe for more Destiny 2 content. But without further delay guys, let's jump into the video. Another week and another This Week in Destiny. This week marks week 10 of Season of the Witch. And with that we get the final piece of narrative over at the Halo Projector. These have been unlocking week over week as we work our way through the main story. Now on top of this particular piece of narrative, there's also one final secret triumph to complete for Season of the Witch. Now this triumph is likely to be something we see upon the conclusion of Festival of the Lost, and will likely result in us completing one final test. In fact, we made a video right here on the channel covering secret areas in the Imbaru engine, so if you want a sneaky peek at the fourth and final test, then make sure to check out that video, and I'll be sure to leave the link to that down in the video description below. On top of that though, we also see the continuation of Festival of the Lost. If you're still working your way through the triumphs or looking to complete your event card, or like most of us farm as many mementos as possible before the end of the event, then you have 2 more weeks to do so. And we'll have a video later in the week covering all the best farms for you solo players, so keep your peepers peeled and stay stuck to the channel. Now next up we're going to move on to the featured exotic mission, and this week's featured mission is the Presage. Now to access this mission you will need to either own Beyond Light or Season of the Chosen. Now the Presage is one of the best exotic missions available and is also the home to the Dead Man's Tale exotic scout rifle. This is now craftable and even has a new trait added to the pool. Now as well as that exotic, you can farm other armor and weapons from Season of the Haunted. This includes Nezaric's Whisper, Bump in the Night, Tears of Contrition, Hollow Denial, Firefright and Without Remorse. That's on top of the opulent weapons including the Ostringer, the Drang, Beloved, Callous Mini Tool and even the Eidolon Pursuant armor set. So if you're missing weapon patterns from some of these weapons from Season of the Haunted, then this week would be your opportunity to pick them up, so make sure to jump in upon this week's weekly reset. Now next up we're going to move on to featured raid and dungeon content, and the featured raid for week 10 is the Deep Stone Crypt. Now this launched back in Beyond Light, is one of the most accessible raids available and has some pretty incredible weapons which are all now craftable. If you haven't got craftable versions of things like the Succession or the Commemoration, then I highly recommend jumping into the Deep Stone Crypt this week, as the featured raid all the challenges are available, perfect if you're looking to farm any of the weapons and armor. And on top of that, if you don't have the Eyes of Tomorrow exotic rocket launcher, then you can even farm Tanix, the final boss for this amazing reward. There's truly never been a better time to jump into the Deep Stone Crypt, so make sure to get those fire teams together and get those challenges done. Now alongside the Deep Stone Crypt we see the return of the Shattered Throne as the featured dungeon, but much like the Pit of Heresy, this dungeon is in need of a massive overhaul. Not only do the weapons and armor need updating, there's no artifice armor on offer, and the only real exotic available is the Wishender exotic bow, and even that mission has been changed and updated. Sadly, this doesn't give us many reasons to jump into the Shattered Throne, but what changes would you like to see? Be sure to sound off down in the comments below. Now next up we move on to Dares of Eternity and the 30th Anniversary Pack activity. Alongside the Scatterhorn armor set from Forsaken, we see the return of the Lightkin armor set from Season of the Splicer. So with Splicer armor in rotation, we get an opportunity to pick up some Splicer weapons too. This includes the Chroma Rush, Ignition Code, Grid Skipper, Farewell, Sojourner's Tale, Shattered Cipher, the Main Ingredient, Long Shadow, The Last Dance, Toil and Trouble, Wishbringer and The Last Perdition. Now Dares gives you a great opportunity to fill out your transmog collection if you don't have the Lightkin armor set. And on top of that, as the splice weapons are not craftable, it's another opportunity to get god rolls on them. If you missed out on the god roll Ignition Code from Xur a few weeks back, then this is your chance. And I highly recommend chasing down the Chroma Rush and Grid Skipper too, as they are also incredible weapons. Now next up we're going to move on to the weekly rituals, and we see the return of the Heist of Battlegrounds over on Europa. Now this season in fact sees 3 heist battlegrounds in rotation, and out of those 3 Europa is probably the easiest. Now when it comes to Nightfall exclusive rewards, we see the Swarm available this week, Now this will be your final opportunity to pick up the Swarm machine gun, as this is being removed from the loot pool upon the conclusion of Season 23. Now the Swarm does have a chance to drop from any difficulty Nightfall, but if you and your team can pull off the Grandmaster Challenge whilst earning a Platinum Medal by taking out all the champions, then this will guarantee you an Adept version of that Nightfall reward. Now moving over to the Crucible, we have Clash and Team Scorched as featured Crucible Rotators. Now Bungie has slightly changed the rotation of the Crucible modes as a result of the success of Checkmate. With that being said, they all offer their own unique challenges, and with there being 9 seasonal challenges this season linked to Crucible modes alone, make sure to try and get most of those knocked out where you can before the end of the season. Now next up, we're going to move on to the Lost Sector calendar for week 10. This week kicks off over in the Bay of Drowned Wishes on the Dreaming City, and will be offering exotic gauntlets. As for Wednesday, you can head over to the Velis Labyrinth for a chance of exotic chess pieces. On Thursday, Exodus Garden 2A is back and offering exotic helmets. On Friday, with the return of Trials, Sepulture is in rotation, offering exotic boots, with Saturday offering Extraction and a chance for exotic gauntlets. On Sunday, you can find the Lost Sector over in the Metamorphosis, and that will be offering exotic chess pieces, and will round out the week over on the Moon at K1 Revelations for another shot at those exotic helmets. If you're not using the haunted sectors and focusing your eerie engrams accordingly, then make sure to plan your week instead using this calendar. And if you want to check it out in full for yourself, make sure to do so over in Today in Destiny, and I'll leave the link to that down in the video description below. Now to round us out for the week, we're going to move on to the seasonal challenges, and this is the last week of challenges for Season of the Witch. Now week 10 sees 6 challenges in total, with the first called Great Sword Logic, and for this you need to defeat bosses and mini bosses anywhere in the system, and you'll earn bonus progress by defeating headless ones in haunted sectors during Festival of the Lost. That's followed by Hive Eradicator, so you need to defeat Hive anywhere in the system, and again you'll earn bonus progress by defeating Hive in Season of the Witch activities or haunted sectors during Festival of the Lost. That's followed by Throne World activities, so in the Throne World you need to complete bounties and earn progress by completing patrols, public events and looting lost sectors. Next we have Mean and Green, so you need to get final blows with strand weapons or abilities in the Crucible. That's followed by Bring a Sword, and you need to get final blows with swords, and you'll earn bonus progress in haunted sectors during Festival of the Lost. And the final challenge for Season of the Witch is called Primary School, and you need to get final blows with primary ammo in ritual activities, and you'll earn bonus progress for submachine guns, bows or scout rifle final blows, or by defeating guardians. So there we have it guys, a good look on everything that you can expect for week 10 of Season of the Witch. If you've enjoyed this video, be sure to check out one of the 2 videos you see here in these cards for more Destiny 2 content. And if you want to keep up to date with everything to do with Destiny 2, then be sure to hit subscribe as well. I'm going to pick up the game as always guys, and I will catch you all again very soon.